On October 1st, 2025, the U.S. federal government ground to a halt. What followed would become the longest shutdown in American history. At midnight, funding expired, and many agencies went dark. Staff furloughed, programs paused, services delayed. For 43 days, hundreds of thousands of federal workers were either furloughed or forced to keep working without pay. The ripple effects spread far and wide. Airports saw delays, national parks shut down, food aid programs stretched thin. Congress had failed to pass a full appropriations bill or a continuing resolution. The impasse was between the House, led by Republicans, and the Senate, with Democrats holding that the bill must include extensions of health insurance subsidies under the Affordable Care Act, ACA. Day after day, the shutdown left visible scars. Food stamp benefits, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, teetered on the edge. Federal workers waited for paychecks that never came. The transportation system staggered. The cost to the U.S. economy? Billions of dollars lost in output and productivity. Then, the breakthrough. On November 10th, the Senate passed a spending package after 8 Democrats and 1 independent broke ranks to join Republicans, meeting the 60-vote threshold needed. The House followed on November 12th, voting 222 to 209 to reopen the government. Late that night, President Donald Trump signed the bill into law. His words, "The federal government will now resume normal operations." What did the deal deliver? First, it brought back pay for roughly 650,000 furloughed workers and protected another 600,000 who had been working without compensation. Second, it reversed the layoffs the administration had ordered during the shutdown and suspended further layoffs through January. Third, it funded the government through January 30th, 2026, with some parts of the appropriations extended even further, for example, the SNAP program through September 2026. But here's the key. Not everything was resolved. The extension of ACA health insurance subsidies, a central Democratic demand, was left dangling. The deal postponed, but did not guarantee a vote. So, what comes next? With the government reopened, federal services begin a phased return. But recovery won't happen overnight. Airport staffing still remains under pressure. Flight delays could continue. Meanwhile, the legislative clock ticks. By mid-December, Congress is expected to revisit the healthcare subsidies question. If nothing changes, millions of Americans could face higher premiums next year. On the political front, the parties are already gearing up. Republicans arguing the reopening is their victory, Democrats vowing to fight on health care and labeling the shutdown a preventable crisis. The shutdown was a stark reminder of how fragile some of our federal services are and how painful political gridlock can be. With operations now running again, the real test lies ahead. Can Congress and the White House work together to avoid a repeat? Will the next showdown over funding and policy be more measured or even more damaging? And that's the full story, but it's far from over. The headlines keep moving, and we'll be right here breaking down every new twist as it happens. If you don't want to miss what's next, make sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you're first to know when the next update drops. Hit like if you enjoyed the breakdown, share it with a friend who loves real stories behind the news, and drop a comment below. Tell us what you think should happen next. You're watching US Celebrity Central, where the real stories never stop. Stay tuned.